Welcome to the immersive reading of a passage from Di-bayn-di-zi-win, To Own Ourselves, brought to you by freeconference.com and Dundurn Press. Enjoy.
Di-bayn-di-zi-win, To Own Ourselves, Embodying Ojibway-Anishinabe Ways, is a collaborative book that explores the importance of the Ojibway-Anishinabe worldview. Authors Makwa Ogimaa, Jerry Fontaine, and Ka-pi-ta-aht, McCaskill, tell their bah-ji-mo-wi-nan stories of personal experience in order to provide insight into the cultural, political, social, and academic events of the past 50 years of Ojibwe-Anishinabe resistance in Canada. They suggest that Ojibwe-Anishinabe, i-zhi-chi-gay-win, zhigo, kayn-dah-so-win, or ways of doing and knowing, can provide alternative ways of living and thriving in today's world. To aid non-Anishinabe people to come halfway, the authors offer 7 Anishinaabe protocols, principles, and practices to help understand and honor Anishinaabe cultures. 1. Bezhig onaagan, gaye, bezhig, emikwan, translated as one dish and one spoon. Bezhig onaagan, bezhig, emikwan, involves symbolically sharing a meal together with an environmental ethic that recognizes there is only one dish, the land, and one spoon, humanity, which must be taken care of in an attitude of bah-ji-mo-wi-nan, or what is essentially stewardship. 2. Di-bayn-di-zi-win, translated as to enter into one another's lodge. Di-bayn-di-zi-win is a cultural practice whereby parties put aside their biases and enter into an agreement as to how to live together. 3. Nawi-aki, translated as middle ground. Nawi-aki is a historical process whereby Anishinaabe and Europeans came together to create an agreed upon way to respect each other's way of life and live in peace. It was a paradoxical process that each group came from a separate place, culturally and politically, yet each group had an understanding and respect for the other's worldview and cultural practices. In effect, it was reconciliation through separation. We suggest that by engaging in these practices, there is a possibility of attaining genuine reconciliation. 4. Adaso-kanang, i-zhi-chi-gay-win, zhigo bah-ji-mo-wi-nan, adago-signan, i-zhi-chi-gay-win, zhigo bah-ji-mo-wi-nan, is translated as sacred stories and spiritual history. Ojibwe-Anishinabe culture is fundamentally spiritual and is imparted through stories, including adaso-kanang, sacred stories, i-zhi-chi-gay-win, moral stories, and the bah-ji-mo-wi-nan, stories of personal experiences. Di-bayn-di-zi-win explores Ojibwe-Anishinabe ways of doing and knowing through the bah-ji-mo-wi-nan, our live truth and our journey as we experienced it through our Ojibwe-Anishinabe events and activities. 5. Ojibwe-mo-wi-nan. Because Ojibwe-mo-wi-nan is an oral language coming from the land and spirit, it is sometimes difficult to apply English words and meaning to Embodying-di-zi-win, which is our way of knowing and way of life. But the Ojibwe language is important in imparting Ojibwe-Anishinabe ways of doing and knowing because language is such a fundamental way of expressing culture. It expresses a people's collective memory and history. Ojibwe-mo-wi-nan is used in Di-bayn-di-zi-win to give context not only to spiritual concepts, but also to Ojibwe-Anishinabe pedagogy and Indian ways. 6. Bimika-me-ga-win. Bimika-me-ga-win is translated as our responsibility to protect the land. Ojibwe-Anishinabe ways of doing and knowing are grounded in the land itself, in a sense of place, physically and spiritually. Debwewin, truth, and how we see and understand the world includes Adesokanag, sacred stories and spiritual history, which are grounded in an intimate relationship to and with the land, including the spirits of the land and the onaagan, natural laws. 7. Manatuke-winan. Manatuke-winan is translated as ceremonies. Manatuke-winan are central to Ojibwe-Anishinabe ways of doing and knowing and include a way to connect with the Ginemisho-Misinang, grandfathers or spirits. Thus, ceremonies such as Asimakawad, tobacco offering, Opwagan, pipe, Gaye-shimo, fasting or a vision, Madud-san, sweat lodge, Jishkan, shaking tent, and Nabagwe-shimong Namigwitsan, sun dance, are practiced as spiritual expressions of Ojibwe-Anishinabe ways of doing and knowing. The authors want to highlight that the main message of Di-bayn-di-zi-win, to own ourselves, is that to understand where you are going, you have to understand where you come from. In the book, they look back over the last half century and discuss the activism and the many political events they have observed and have been involved in, events that have led to where we are today. It is their hope that readers will appreciate this distinctive worldview, as well as Ojibwe-Anishinabe values, language, and ceremonial practices, and that their book provides an alternative to Western political and academic institutions. They hope Di-bayn-di-zi-win will peel away the layers of colonialism, violence, and injustice, speaking truth and leading to true reconciliation.
freeconference.com and Dundurn Press hope you enjoyed this passage from Di-bayn-di-zi-win, To Own Ourselves. To discover more or to purchase a copy of Di-bayn-di-zi-win, visit dundurn.com.